All right, everybody, we're going to be watching this group ride crash, and we're going to actually be talking about what to do after you're in a crash or witness a crash a little bit later today. I'm sorry, later in this video. Black Bessie Media, okay, handling it. There's the different, you saw the chevrons. Slowing down as best he can. His buddy made it. We didn't make it. Nobody behind us. I don't see anybody. There's somebody behind us. Never mind. Picked it up pretty good. Buddies are stopping over here on the left side. So very good. Hopefully they're going to be rescuing another rider. So let's go and take a look at this one. What we talk about all the time is planning our ride. Position for safety, line of sight, space cushions, and make sure we have an escape route. Locating hazardous situations. We're coming up to a corner, so we should be in orange stage. We already assumed that this is going to be hazardous because motorcycle riders tend to crash in corners or into sides of vehicles or just dumps the bike before they hit a vehicle. And so then it's considered a solo crash until they hit somebody. And then also, we're assessing any relevant threats. You know, is our buddy a threat? You know, behind us, in front of us. Is the corner itself a threat? Is there road surface hazards? Is there roadway users? So like a car coming around the corner. Is there issues with our vision? You know, our helmet could be a relevant threat. We got to fix that thing up. But one of the big ones when it comes to motorcycle riding for any situation is our own speed and rider error is a threat. This is why we're in here doing the training. This is why we're talking about these things in an after-action review. So how do we navigate active threats? If our speed is a relevant threat, how do we navigate that? Slow it down. Roll off the throttle, get some engine braking, apply some progressive braking so that we can slow it down even more. Whatever we have to do when it comes to getting into a corner, because we should be doing slow look, press, and roll. Slowing down before the turn, looking through the turn with good line of sight, pressing to initiate counter steering, and then rolling the throttle if we're going a little bit too slow, but barely roll on it, or when our nose is pointed in on the other side of the turn, and then go ahead and accelerate to get yourself back up. So right here, we got a little bit too close. You notice how we were okay space cushion, but now we got too close. So our line of sight, you know, we should be looking through the corner. We should be looking through here. So really, we should be fine. But what typically happens in group rides is that we don't do that. And I say we, I mean this person and a lot of new riders, is that we're looking at this guy. Okay, so we kind of screwed up already because we're kind of riding his ride. We're not riding our ride. If we were riding our ride, we're looking over here. And what we're doing is that we're looking over here, and then we're looking here, and then we're looking here, we're looking here, looking here, looking here. And we're constantly going back and back and back and back and back. So we're constantly just going boom, 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 boom until we get through it. Okay, we're right here. We want to get over there. We don't want to get right here. So constantly scanning the horizons, constantly scanning any road surface hazards, but we're constantly going boom, 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 boom. We're constantly doing that, okay? We're not looking at this person right here. So position for safety, locating hazards, that's how we're locating hazardous stuff. We're assessing any threats on the road. But if we're not doing that and we're paying attention to just what this guy's doing, we're going to react way too late. That's not a good situation. So right here, we're applying the brake pressure. We're having difficulty trying to make the turn while braking. So what we're doing is braking and not turning. You can brake and turn a little bit, and that's not what we're doing here. Slowing down before the turn will definitely help you out. Get that tire in the front, more friction, more traction, because our front end suspension is actually putting weight on that tire because we're putting weight on that tire by slowing down because the weight shifts to the front. And we're just having issues here. Now we're at this point. So what's the new plan? We have to assess any relevant threats. Well, going off-road is a relevant threat, but hitting a sign is. So let's not hit the sign. Let's try to navigate around it. Okay, we navigated around it. Now what's the new relevant threat? Okay, the bush. Hopefully we can slow down in time. And we tried, but we couldn't. And so now what's the new relevant threat? Getting impaled. How do we navigate that? Having full gear. Hey, you can't just put full gear on last second. Just like if you're about to get into a car crash, you can't just be like, 1 second, let me get my seatbelt on. No, you prepare yourself. You get the full gear beforehand. You put your seatbelt on beforehand, before you get into a crash. And that's part of being a smart rider, is acquiring and using personal protective equipment, and then also rescuing injured motorcyclists. He's got full gear. This is exactly what you need to have. He has got a back protector. He's got a shirt over it. He's got gear. Looks like he's got some leathers. Oh, no, he's got some pants. So there's up and over, so you can have some leg issues. Hopefully, he is wearing a helmet, so hopefully he doesn't have any brain damage from it. and he's going to go ahead and just lift the bike up. So handled it well. Make sure you guys wear full gear. The main thing here is to be looking through the corner. Don't ride this close. Don't ride too fast. Ride in more of a staggered, but if you're in a corner stuff or a corner situation, ride with enough space cushion, and then just kind of modulate. If they go faster, you can go faster too, but I still wouldn't do that. It's where if they go faster, they want to take off and it's out of your skill level, just go ahead and stay back and talk to them on your cardo pack talks. But for the most part, you're kind of just doing this, okay? For the most part in a group ride, you're kind of doing this versus doing this, okay? You don't want to be getting too close and then trying to slow down, get too close, slow down. You're trying to modulate at the same time, one full unit, and if they want to take off and it's past your skill level, that's why you start talking to them on your cardos, so you can tell them, hey, I'm not going to keep up with you, so I'll meet you at the next stop sign. You know, something like that. Terrible situation. Hopefully he's doing fine. It is what it is. What do we do after a crash? Let's find out. What should I do if I get into a motorcycle accident? Okay, let's just look at it from the perspective of injuries and basically being scared. I'm not going to talk about insurance, what you should say, what you shouldn't say. At the end of the day, you do what you need to do, get your own legal advice. But for medical advice, make sure you rescue yourself. Now, this is a rescue card that comes in every single one of our rescue packs. This is a medical trauma pack, and then also our little boo-boo pouch right here. This is the rescue pouch, but trauma kit right here comes with a bunch of stuff, and it shows up in here. So what you want to do is remain calm. That's one of the biggest ones here, because you're gonna have a lot of adrenaline rush. Let's say you're low-sided in a corner. It's just you. You didn't get hit too hard. You're not super hurt, but you're just like amped up. Okay, so first and foremost, let's do some breathing exercises. Okay, so we're going to do some somatic work where we're trying to down-regulate our nervous system and really get ourselves out of that reptilian brain, put ourselves in that prefrontal cortex so that we can actually think in an emergency, compartmentalize a little bit until afterwards we can process the emotions. Yeah, this is where we're going. So remain calm. What you want to do is breathe in as best you can. It's going to be hard for 5 seconds. Let it out 5 seconds. In 5 seconds. Let it out 5 seconds. What's that doing is that when you're in that adrenaline rush, you're breathing like that, and that's going to put you in that fight or flight. And what you're doing is resetting that and forcing your brain to be like, okay, we're actually safe. We're actually good. We have to think, and that's important. So remain calm. Now, ensure your own safety. So while you're trying to remain calm and breathe, what you're doing is walking to the side of the road. Don't stay on the road. It's not good. And if you still don't know what we're talking about here, we got the rescue booklet that comes with every single one of those. And you can also get this separately. And it also talks about how to do everything here. So remaining calm, stop major bleeds. We're going to talk about that. So ensure your own safety. Move off to the side. If you're by yourself and you have your phone, call 911. Get them rolling to the scene for EMS. You can always cancel and refuse transport service. They can't kidnap you if you say no, so don't worry about that too much. So you want to just basically not get hit by any other vehicles, okay? If your motorcycle's on fire, don't get burned, so ensuring your own safety. Stop major bleeds. Let's say you got a nice little gouge right here, okay? It's starting to spurt out blood, like pretty bad, bright red, pulsating with your heartbeat. Ooh, that's an artery. What you want to do is we have a tourniquet in our rescue packs, high and tight, put a tourniquet on. If it's not bleeding out crazy, it's not super emergency, we do have 4x4s and 5x9s, basically cotton, put it on there, pressure, and then wrap it, and then keep pressure on there until it stops. So usually about 5 minutes, okay? A little about 5 minutes. So stop major bleeds, make sure everything's good. We talk about that in that rescue booklet. It's basically a manual for how to use that trauma kit. And then you're going to want to quickly assess severity. Are you starting to like get dizzy? Are you losing blood? Do you feel like you're going to pass out? So at this point, just lay down. Okay, you want to make your body as simple as possible. Your heart doesn't have to pump against gravity to your brain. It could just pump side by side. The blood's going to, be easy to maneuver. So your blood pressure can stay nice and low, but still be functional. So lay down, because you don't want to have an syncopal episode, fainting, and fall face first after you took your helmet off for some reason, because your blood pressure dropped, because you're having an adrenaline going, an adrenaline dump, and you feel tired. So just lay down until you feel good, until EMS shows up, until somebody comes to help. And then once you feel good, get up slowly, keep checking yourself,
making sure everything's good. And that's what you should do after a motorcycle accident. All right, guys? Grab yourself a trauma kit. Get one of the rescue booklets. Let's make sure that we are staying safe.